Get this down there. Hello, hello, hello. Hang on, my trim is all over the gaff. Alright, yo boys, it's your boy JT. And I know it is late again, another one of these ones, but it is time for a flash preview of tomorrow's crunch match against Newcastle. And you're probably sat there scratching your head. Why is he calling this a crunch match? Newcastle is not a crunch match, James. You have lost the plot. Well, I'll tell you why. And it has a little something to do with the Premier League table. 17th position. Not good enough, I'm afraid. Newcastle now our best chance of a win. If we do not capitalise tomorrow, then my friends, we are really and truly up shit's creek without a paddle, and we cannot afford that. But let's not waste any more time, and let's get straight into the juicy meat of the action. Newcastle Football Club it is. Are they someone to be feared? Are they someone we should be dispatching of? Absolutely right, we should. But last week, the 4-1 scoreline against Manchester United wasn't necessarily too kind for the Magpies, and we will delve into that a little bit. They did have some good opportunities there. They had great play on the break. I tell you, Miguel Almiron is someone to be feared, especially with the problem Leeds have with tracking the midfield runners. Miguel Almiron was on fire last week. He was taking the ball from deep. He was licking players. I mean, for Manquillo's first goal there, the run he made was absolutely fantastic. Takes on one or two, sprays it into St. Maximin, and then Manquillo obviously carried on his run, capitalized on the opportunity beautifully, but it all came from Miguel Almiron, and we saw how big the gaps were in our midfield last week against Liverpool. We saw how easy it was to penetrate through us at times, and Miguel Almiron could be one of those players that could exploit that. Could he also exploit the fact that we may have a weakened right-hand side of the defence due to the fact that Pascal Struijk, Virgil van Struijk, or whatever the hell you want to call him, his appeal has been denied. We will get onto that in just a second. But like I was saying about Newcastle, if they had a number 9 who could finish, if they had someone who had some pace, who had some good movement, and who knew where to be, then they could have really had a bit of a different outcome against Manchester United. As it was, Joe Linton had an absolute stinker. The guy was out of position. The guy does not know how to get into the area in the box. So I do hope that he is playing, because we are going to have a weakened defence. It is looking like we are going to have Luke Ayling back in at centre-half. Is that going to be good enough to keep a clean sheet? Like I said, with Joe Linton lurking around, maybe so. Because we did see last year when Luke Ayling did have to fill in at centre-back at times. Whilst there were times where he was a very worthy adversary back there, there were also quite a few times where he was quite the opposite, to be honest. And he made quite a few blunders. His positioning didn't seem great. He did make a couple of nice last-ditch clearances off the line, but generally position wise it's not his favourite position. He can do a job there, but he does leave big gaps. He doesn't stay very tight to his central defensive partner. Could that be something they exploit? Hopefully not. We are going to have to remedy that. And you're probably thinking, James, why is Luke Ayling going to be playing at centre-half? Well, it is, as I said before, Virgil van Struijk's Bargav. Hi, how are you? It is, of course, the news that Virgil van Struijk's appeal has been denied. And let's just go over to the injuries and suspensions list. And here we are again. You can see it here. Pascal Struijk suspended. Robin Koch out with a groin hip pelvic injury. And Diego Llorente also out with a thing. What do you mean by busy, Bargav? Am I busy? Not at the moment. I'm busy with this. But I tell you who will be busy tomorrow. I've completely forgotten his name. Hang on a second. Hang on just a second. Woodman. If they start Woodman in goal, I don't know who the hell's. But Woodman, if he does play, is going to be very, very busy tomorrow. He's going to be having shots popped off left, right, and centre against him. But like I said, without Robin Koch, without Diego Llorente, and without Virgil van Dijk, we are most likely going to have to slot in Luke Ayling at centre-back. Now, that poses a very, very, very interesting question. Who do you slide in at right-back if Ayling is brought in? Do you give Cresswell his go, or do you trust the safer pair of hands in Jamie Shackleton? That's right, I never thought I'd be calling Jamie Shackleton a necessarily safe pair of hands, but he's a hell of a lot safer than the very, very unproven Cresswell. Which one out of those two would you like to slide in? Let me know down below. Would you go for Cresswell, or would you go for your main man, Shackleton? As for the other side of the pitch, you are probably going to be looking at Junior Firpo again. I know it's divisive. I know he's been very poor at the beginning of the season. But like I've said a plethora of times, I am still willing to give him his crack. I'm still willing to give him the opportunity. And with time, hopefully he can prove us wrong. This is a perfect opportunity for him. Newcastle are a side that sit deep. Newcastle don't have a lot of the ball, so he's going to have a lot of impotence to run forward, a lot of impotence to attack, especially on that counter-attack. Because let's face it, Newcastle, they're quite slow around the midfield area. They're quite slow around the defensive area as well. If we just have another look at this lineup, Lascelles, not necessarily the quickest, but probably, along with Hayden, the quickest of the two. Matt Ritchie, not a natural left back. If he does play in this left wing back position, he can be caught out a lot. Clark, again, very slow. And I do think that they are going to be there for the taking on the counter-attack. However, there is one interesting name I have just spotted here that is probably going to jump to you guys. If you guys fail to get a point against Newcastle, you're not getting top 10, and you're going to be dragged into a relegation battle if you're not careful. And you know what, mate? I would like to disagree with you there, but unfortunately, I cannot. And you must be buzzing. You did get the win today, actually. I'm pretty sure you got the win today. I know. Did you get the win? Did you get the win? I'm pretty sure you did. Yes, a lovely 2-0 win against Dynamo Zagreb for West Ham. An absolute belter from Declan Rice, by the way. So you must be absolutely buzzing right now, Moo. Yeah, you did 2-0. I didn't actually get a chance to watch the game because I was busy at work. However, I was heard that I did hear that you had quite the good performance, and I'm very excited to watch it. Gang in the building. How are you, my brother? Oi, I'm back, he says. And I tell you who needs to be back, Leeds United. But I tell you who won't be back, Joseph Willock. That is right. It is presumed that he is going to miss the game. He does have a slight knock. It's not 100% whether he will play. However, I don't know. Knowing Leeds, knowing our luck, he'll probably play. They beat Tottenham 3-0 last year. They knocked them out and we beat them, mate. Tottenham in Europe, a bit of a questionable one. I mean, aside from the year when they absolutely fluke their way to the final, I don't know how the hell they managed to do that, going through 2 games on away goals. Aside from that, they've had an absolute shocking spell in Europe, especially in the Europa League. So, you know what? I do think you can go a lot further than Tottenham ever had because, you know, natural bottle jobs and that. But as for the rest of the team, Manquillo, again, that could be a big miss. But again, it is just a knock. Callum Wilson is out. No return date has been set. Therefore, we are going to have to look at the fact that, oh my God, my brain has completely gone blank. Joe Linton, that's right, the absolute flop, the absolute massive daddy long leg, slow motion running son of an ass, is going to be starting at striker. And we could have a very good chance to keep him out, to keep him quiet. Ryan Fraser, again, apparently he is going to be fit and ready to play. I did hear some rumours through the grapevine. Whether he'll start him or not, I'm not too sure. And let's be real, what do you guys even think of Ryan Fraser, by the way? That guy's career has hit a very, very quick stall. Gang, I did see a message there. I will get to it in just a second about Leeds getting slapped by Liverpool It was a rough one. It was a rough one, gang. Ryan Fraser, like I said, I don't know what you guys think about him, but he did not. His career has really just gone very stationary. In fact, pretty much in decline since he did leave Bournemouth. Of course, when he was leaving, everyone went out for him. Bamford was shocking against Leeds. Well, I don't know how he could have been shocking against Leeds. I mean, maybe in a training game. I don't know how he missed that chance against Liverpool. Look, I don't think it's fair to say Bamford was shocking. Look, he didn't have his best game, but he was probably one of the sharper players around there. Quite a few players missed quite good chances. Rodrigo missed a very good chance, if you ask me. Should Bamford have been a bit more sharp in the area? Could he have been putting himself about a bit more? Maybe, yes, although it's always going to be tough going up against Virgil van Dijk. And I don't think he did himself too much harm, especially, you know, with that lovely chip he almost did in that second half there, almost dinked the keeper. That would have been beautiful. But yeah, I don't think he was that bad. I think it's a bit harsh. Prayers for Harvey Elliott. Prayers indeed. Touch wood, and hopefully he is okay. It's very, very unfortunate. Like I said, I don't think it was a red card. I really don't. And can I just say he's been extremely classy about it, the way he's dealt with it, the way he's come out. He said, look, man, these things happen. I don't think it was a red card personally either. And he's been given praise to Strike as well. You know what? Harvey Elliott, for such a young lad, and a guy that's had quite a lot of criticism for, you know, comments he said about Harry Kane in the past, etc. He's really showing great sportsmanship. He's showing great maturity. And I really hope for his sake that he does come back fitter and stronger than ever, man. Prayers are with you, Harvey Elliott. But yeah, like I said, with these injuries out, it is looking like it's going to be a relatively stable side for Newcastle. Very similar to the side we did see roll out against Man United. And I think it's a side we should be dispatching of now. For our 1-2-11, let me know who you guys are going to be putting in that back four. That is the main question of content. Are you going to be sliding Ayling in at centre-back? Are you going to be keeping him at right-back? Maybe twisting some things around. Maybe putting Calvin Phillips at centre-back. Leeds are one of those teams that hate most of the team. You hate London club. That hate most of the team. You hate the London clubs, Liverpool and Manchester United. Who do you like? Well, look, when it comes to the London clubs, I personally have a bit of disdain for them because I lived in London and grew up. So that's the only reason why I like bantering off other sides. Like a side like Tottenham, to be honest, Leeds don't really care about Tottenham, if I'm really honest. Tottenham, ain't nobody care about that. West Ham, again, it's a bit meaningless. It's not really too much of a rivalry between Leeds and West Ham. Obviously, West Ham are, you know, historically a pretty big club as well. So there's always a bit of friction there. But obviously, Northerners and Southerners hate each other. As a Southerner that's come up to Manchester, I can tell you for a fact, and frequently goes to Leeds, I can tell you for a fact, there's nothing Northerners hate more than a Southerner. So that would be why the London clubs are their thing. As for Leeds and Liverpool, again, two historic giants, had some many great battles in the past. So that's why we have a rivalry with them. And then Manchester United obviously goes down to the War of the Roses. But I don't think there's any sides we particularly like, because that's not really a club thing, innit? You don't really like any other team. But yeah, you're right. We are very fractious, and we do have a lot of rivalries everywhere. We love to be hated, and we love a bit of a feisty rivalry. What can I say? It spices things up a bit, adds a bit of tension to the drama. To the Cody drama, if you will. And speaking of Cody drama, could he be someone that you slide in that right back position? He hasn't really been given a crack under BLC yet. There's a lot of talk about Cresswell getting his opportunity, but what about Cody drama? Could he be getting his crack on Friday? I do think that he will put Shackleton in there. Like I said, I do think it will be a safer pair of hands for him. I do think we will see Junior Firpo, and I do think we will see a back two of Ayling and Cooper. Cooper, again, I know a lot of you aren't necessarily massive fans of him, but when desperate times call, you need desperate measures. As for that midfield position, of course, we are going to be sliding Calvin Phillips in there, the Yorkshire Pirlo. Who else could you possibly want in that midfield position to deal with the midfield runners, to deal with the likes of Miggy Almiron? There's no one else you'd rather have than Calvin Filipinos. And then the four. There were four. The midfield four. Are you going to substitute one of Rafinha or Jack Harrison to potentially slide Dan James into the mix? Or are you going to keep it as is? Of course, Rafinha and Jack Harrison not really having spectacular games against Liverpool. Rafinha and Jack Harrison, although I would say have been two of our better players this season, especially Jack Harrison, very much improved, might I add. But against Liverpool, not their finest hour. But I do think you do have to keep them in the side. And against Newcastle, like I said, we are going to be burning them on the counter-attack. I know we're going to have the majority of the ball, but that doesn't mean we can't burn them in the counter-attack, just like we did last year. Just look at the end. We were just picking them off for fun on that counter. Beautiful rocket by Jack Harrison as a result of that. So I do think you are going to want the safe pair of hands of Jack Harrison and Rafinha. I think in a few games' time, we could see Rafinha move into that midfield position to allow Dan James to get a start. But for now, I do think it is just a little bit early. And, hey, Dan James off the bench. I know it didn't really work against Liverpool, but against Newcastle, that could be tasty, baby. So I think I'm going to keep Dan James on the bench. I am going to slide Mateusz Klich in that midfield midfield position. I'm 99% sure he's back from COVID now. He should be playing. There shouldn't really be a problem. And I am going to put Rodrigo in. Just because I feel like against these lower quality sides like Newcastle, the gulf in quality could be mesmeric with someone like Rodrigo. And look, Joe Willock, yeah, he's good. He's a great young prospect. But if you're talking about European pedigree and quality and just oozing sauce, Rodrigo is a cut above. So I would want to see him in there. And then, of course, up front, who else are you going to put but the main man, Patrick Bamfordinho? But let me know who you guys are going to slide in there down below. Let me know who you want to see play, who you want to see start, and whether you think that Leeds will finally get off the mark with a win. But for now, guys, thank you very much for tuning into this stream. It has been a pleasure. I know it's a little flash preview. I know it's not a very long one. And I know it's very late. I am going to get these a lot earlier. Like I said, I have been run down with a lot of stuff to do recently. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. It does mean a lot. And tune in tomorrow where we will be watching the game together. We will be, of course, with you every step of the way. And I cannot wait. I'm going to sit here tomorrow, right here, 8 o'clock, and watch Leeds finally get those glorious 3 points injected into our veins. But for now, guys, like I said, thank you very much for watching. It does mean a lot. Au revoir.